Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. I'm Matt Connarton with the honorable and newly shorn Gary S. Hopper.
No.
You definitely have less hair than you did.
No, as I went up north over the weekend to Pittsburgh.
Yeah?
My motorcycle.
Yeah?
And I was just going so fast.
Oh, so you do ride without a helmet?
No, that one I had a helmet on.
Oh, really?
What happened? It's like having a bowl on your head.
I got
at a certain speed, when it's cold enough, the hair just snaps off.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's cool. You save money at the barber.
Exactly. That's what I was doing.
It's good for you. You're thrifty.
What the heck are we doing? What are we doing today, Matt? What is going on?
Well, we do this. We actually do this every week.
We do?
Yeah. I like your idea, by the way. You were saying, as we're going on the air, you were commenting we should have Whip It for a...
We should. You know, like Whip It, the song from the...
Devo, yeah. Try to detect it. It's not too late.
To whip it. Whip it good. Yeah. That's what we need for backup. I mean, we have to get a band together and do Whip It.
Well, maybe Devo's not doing anything. Maybe we can get
them to come
and do it.
They should.
Yeah.
I'm that important, I think.
They could be our first ever musical guest.
Exactly.
Be great. The hats. Those funny hats they wear.
Okay. Yeah.
It was your idea.
I know. We have Greg, and I don't know what Greg's last name.
Lindsay.
Greg Lindsay.
Greg, can you pull your mic is way far away. You just pull it, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, thank you.
And we have Bianca
Bodwin.
I was close, though. That was very close. For the American Cancer
Society.
Cancer Society. You wouldn't think you would have a cancer society. It seems like... Anyway. You know what I mean? Like, if you can have a society, it should be positive, like the American Anti-Cancer Society.
Yeah, why don't you call it that? You should change the name.
Yeah. And I want royalties of you. Anyway, so... No, the reason I asked Bianca to come up was I was downstairs at...
Margaritas.
Thank you. Margaritas. I got brain damage, so it doesn't count. So anyway, I was downstairs at Margaritas, and you were going around to tables doing like a drive to collect money or something. I forget what you were doing.
A 50-50 drawn for my team fundraiser.
And I didn't win.
No, you didn't. Yeah, sorry.
Was that the night you had the gay waiter?
No, that was a completely different night, and was I was going into Margaritas with with Ross.
Ross Terrio, yeah.
And the lady before us, we were going in, the lady before us was asking if she could sit at the table with a gay waiter, and I still don't have any idea what that's about or why you would prefer, why sexual preference has anything to do with waiting, but she was very interested in it.
Well, you're a married man, you don't want a bunch of gay food.
Well, no, it wasn't me. It was a woman that was, I don't even know her name.
Oh, I thought they asked you if you wanted to sit, if you
No, I mean, if they start doing that, that's going to be totally weird. No. That was a woman that was trying to be seated before me.
Oh, gotcha.
And she asked specifically for this particular waiter, which I just thought was very unusual.
Oh.
You know, if I go in there, can I have a heterosexual waiter, I would think they would, or waitress, they would probably balk at that a little bit. They get a little pissed. But anyway, so, politics. Did you hear about the testimony from the FBI, or not the FBI, right? The IRS, worse than the FBI. The FBI just uses guns. The IRS uses, they just steal shit from you, stuff from you. Sorry.
You're going to get an email.
And another email. The IRS was targeting anybody with the name Tea Party groups and things like that. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so the National Propaganda Radio is, I'm sorry, they're just very dishonest. I was on the way here, and they said, they were talking about the scandal a little bit, but only mentioned it for a couple minutes, or if that, and they said that Obama has already dismissed the head of the IRS, and this woman's taken over. Mm-hmm. Well, they don't point out that that person was a temporary appointment, and they were due to be gone next month anyway. That would be like somebody calling me and saying, you know, I don't know about that Matt Connarton, your co-host, and me telling them that's okay. I docked his pay for whatever you said that was bad. Would you say that was bad? That they called about anyway?
Well, I just kind of assumed, actually.
Right. Exactly. But anyway, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Me saying that I docked your pay is equivalent to Obama firing the head of the IRS because he was already gone anyway.
Right.
And then the woman that is in charge of the IRS went into Congress today, said her side of the story, and then pled the fifth as far as taking any questions.
Really?
Okay, now, so next time you're audited by the IRS, okay, try to say, oh, I plead the fifth.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? You know, what do you mean you don't have your your proof of that you spent money here? I plead the fifth. I don't have to have any evidence. You have to prove it.
Right.
I bet that would work really good with the IRS. No, probably not. Well, that's anyway. So that was the IRS. It's amazing that what's going on with that. The fact that they were actually targeted, and the groups have been saying they've been targeted for years, and it's only come out in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
What was the other big scandal this last couple of weeks?
There's with the AP.
Being tapped.
Yeah.
All their stuff being phone records and everything from the AP, and it turns out it was they got the phone records from Fox News, some reporters from Fox News, I think ABC too. Wasn't a lady from ABC that had done some reports on Benghazi? All of a sudden, she's being investigated by.
Yeah.
It isn't good.
No.
Somebody is spilling the beans a lot on Obama lately. I don't know what's going on up there, but it's amazing. Anyway, so that's the federal stuff. Keep saying your prayers for those people out west. Man, that was horrible, huh?
Absolutely. That's an F5. I mean, that's as big as it gets for a tornado.
That's a bad. Well, I don't. Yeah, they say that. I don't know where they come up with the idea that it has to be necessarily the biggest.
Well, I just mean as far as classifications.
It is, but I don't.
You think they're maybe eventually?
I don't know enough about it, but it seems like when they say that this is as big as it can get, Mother Nature finds some way of making it bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the state level, what did we do today? We only got through a few bills today.
Why is that on white paper? It's never on white paper. It's always pink.
This is from Tuesday when I went up for the House Republican Alliance. I belong to the House Republican Alliance, which is the conservative Republicans as opposed to Main Street Republicans and other Republicans. But anyway, we get together and try to decide how we as a group are going to endorse certain bills. And so I went up there for the discussion, and the preliminary sheet was in white. Usually they're pink.
Yeah, that's why I was thrown. I saw Reagan's picture in the corner.
And the pink is actually an interesting story. It was not really that interesting, but one of the people from the HRA that went to get the first printing, one of the first printings, was they were out of white paper. They had pink.
Yeah.
So it was printed in pink. So from ever since, it's been the pink sheet.
Oh.
But anyway, let's see. What do we got? We only went through, let's see, four or five bills the entire day today. Okay? We spent...
That's fewer than usual?
A lot fewer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, 126, I don't think that was... that was auto manufacturers. Right now, the auto manufacturers, when they have a deal, the manufacturer themselves can say, well, we want you to remodel your lobby. And the dealership can say, I just did.
Right.
Well, we don't care. You know, we want you to do this, and we want you to put pink carpeting in with, pink polka dots. And it's completely almost arbitrary. It's one thing to go in there, and if the place is getting run down, to say, no, you got to do this. But it's not the case. They do it all the time, and they do all kinds of stuff to these dealerships. So New Hampshire passed basically a dealership's Bill of Rights today.
That's interesting.
They did? They passed it?
Yep.
Great.
I would have had no idea.
Well, it passed the House. I don't know. It's a Senate bill, and I think we amended it so that the Senate has to concur with it, and then it would go on to the governor's desk. But it was an overwhelming vote.
I wouldn't have guessed that was even an issue.
It is an issue, Matt.
Apparently.
That's why you don't get paid the big bucks for being a legislator like me.
I know. I have to pay my tolls.
Fishing game, we had the lead sinker bill. Basically, they've gone from, the limit was any lead sinker under an inch you couldn't use. And now it's going to be any lead sinker under an ounce you can't use. That took a while to debate that.
I've never fished in my life. What's a sinker?
you take a piece of lead, or used to take a piece of lead, and you put it on the line so that it pulls the worm down under the water so the fish can more easily locate it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or if you got a lure or something like that.
Oh, because otherwise it would just...
Yeah, and what happens is, it's really, actually it's kind of cool. The loons, what they do is they go along and they'll eat like a little perch.
Yeah.
And to dissolve it, it goes into like this weird sack thing. I don't know, I forget what you call it. And it breaks it up. And they use rocks from the bottom of the lake. They use like tiny pebbles as part of that to break that stuff up so they can digest it.
Huh.
And if people are using lead sinkers, what's happened in the past is it gets in, the loon puts that in the mix, and they end up dying from the lead.
Gotcha. Huh.
And that sounds really horrible, but the fact of the matter is only like 5 die a year from it.
Yeah.
And the number of loons being increased is the loon populations is going up considerably.
Okay.
And we're almost maxed out as to how many pairs we can take, given the water bodies we have.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I thought, kind of silly bill, but people, as soon as you say loons, people are all sympathetic and they vote with their heart rather than common sense.
Everyone loves a loon.
I do too. I mean, if you do it with cook them with like cheese and stuff like that and stuff them, I think they can be very good.
Put them on wheat bread.
Wheat bread.
They're good with wheat. Not so much with white bread. Gotta be wheat.
No, it's got to be wheat.
Whole grain or something. Yeah.
With Diet Coke.
Yes. Oh, you're making me hungry.
Anyway, so that passed, and then the big enchilada today was gambling.
Ah, yes.
My guest didn't agree with me on this. Okay, so gambling, we spent, let's see, we got back at 2:15. We didn't finally vote on it till 4:30, around 4:30. So 2.25 hours, at least 2.5 hours, just on gambling today. And it went down by about 30 votes, I think, or and it was. I didn't listen to the debate. I told our guest last week, we had our guest as well, people don't read the bill. I said, some bills I don't read. If it's gambling, I'm not going to read it because I know I'm voting against it. Because to me, I know you're chomping at the bit. Go ahead, Greg.
I'd like to hear your opinion first. You're the one who voted on it.
He set me up.
He's good.
He's good.
He's a slick guy.
I know.
He's smooth. Yeah. Do you watch the show? Have you seen the show?
I have never seen the show, actually.
Wow.
Probably never will. Anyway, gambling doesn't produce money. What a gambling facility does is in any given area, let's say you have a 30-mile square 30. How can you have a 30-mile square radius? You can't.
You'd have a 30.
But you have a 30-mile radius.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be round.
Right? Yeah.
That's really upsetting to me. I didn't realize that. Anyway, so you have a 30-mile radius. In that given radius, you have a finite number of disposable income. A gambling casino does not bring any more money into that area. It sucks up that disposable income. And what happens is the little mom and pop stores and things like that were in the area, that because they're working at such low margins, if they've got like a little hardware store, all of a sudden they're not making that margin anymore, and they start dropping people off or laying people off. So a gambling casino really doesn't generate revenue as much as it sucks it up and puts it in the hands of the rich and aimless. That was one problem with it. The second problem with it is that it had one casino in Salem. The Article 10 of the New Hampshire Constitution says that government can't be used for the benefit of any one group or any one family or anything else. It can't be used to help a single group out. So that if gambling was to be constitutional, it would have to be available for everybody. So if gambling is constitutional, every mom and pop store in the state should be able to buy what would be reasonable, say a $500 license to put a one-armed bandit in the front door next to the ATM. Okay, that's constitutional because it's availed to everybody. But this only would end up in the hands of one group. One small group of people would have a license to suck all the disposable income from the people in New Hampshire. So it's as far as I was concerned, it was unconstitutional, and I don't like gambling anyway. So, go ahead.
I personally like throwing craps, so that's one of the reasons that I wanted the casinos to pass. But that's
do you do that legally or illegally?
Legally, if I go to Vegas or whatnot.
So you're saying you don't do that locally with your friends?
No back rooms, no.
No, you can tell the truth.
He can plead the fifth.
That's right, I invoke my rights.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I was just a supporter for the fact of, first, I mean, our wonderful governor, her entire budget seemed to be based on the gambling being passed, and that was $80 million that was in there. So I don't know what your thoughts are on what's going to happen with the budget, because as it is now, without that revenue coming in, we still have the high hospital taxes, low R&D credits. Schools were going to, I believe, freeze tuition for, what was it, 2 years if that money came in from the casino. I think it would have been nice to have that little pop of revenue coming into the state. I mean, Salem, you look at, I think it was, 80% of the people who voted in the referendum to put the casino in Salem voted for it. So the people of the town of Salem were very much for it, and the Rockingham Park track there is just, it's not a good-looking building anymore. I think there's a lot of potential for that spot, and I mean, that would draw people up from Massachusetts that otherwise are going to Connecticut now and come next month when Twin River down in Rhode Island puts table games in. A lot of people in the northern Massachusetts area are going to be going down to Rhode Island and giving their money to the state of Rhode Island.
Yep.
I think it would have had, because I assume that there would have been some sort of, I would think there would have been some sort of tax implications for people who were winning if they won these jackpots in the casinos, because I don't know how they would continue the revenue flow past the licenses.
Do we have a tax on winnings? We do, don't we? Or do we?
I'm not sure.
I'm not
We
sure.
don't have an income tax, but I don't know about winnings. I never won anything.
I've never won enough to
Yeah, I don't know.
consider
either.
paying taxes.
I've never even bought
I
a
mean,
lottery ticket.
I'm a winner in a way.
Sure. Yes, you are, Gary.
Right,
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, you are.
I mean, I just think it would have been a good draw to bring those people from central and northern Massachusetts up to New Hampshire and keep the people in New Hampshire spending in New Hampshire and keeping their money within the state.
Yeah, but some of the stuff, you as a private citizen don't realize that the people that were were fighting against gambling actually provided better food than the people that were actually for gambling. So as a legislator, I have to look at what food is being offered to me for nothing.
Right. Did you get some lasagna from the
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I could have brought in a cake or something for you. If
that would have done it. See, you're too late.
Wish I knew that.
A cake late and $1 short.
Yeah, exactly. I do know what you're saying. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, on to okay. So we got Relay for Life. So Bianca, like I said earlier, I met you downstairs when you were doing the 50-50 raffle. Because that's actually a pretty awesome thing. Going around to people you've never met before and trying to get them to buy raffle tickets isn't easy.
No, it's not.
So what? There's got to be some underlying motivation for you to be involved in this.
Well, I do work at the American Cancer Society. I'm a community executive, but I started as a volunteer. I started in 2005 as a volunteer because I missed my dad. And I lost my father in 2004 to cancer.
What kind?
And it's my way to fight back.
What kind of cancer?
My father died of colon cancer.
Okay.
And, at the age of 30, I had to start getting colonoscopies. Not something that you really want to talk about, but it's part
of... No, you really
of...
don't want to talk about that.
But it is...
Yeah, now it's a mention of Bianca.
Yeah, really.
But it is part of...
So, Greg, what did you...
Greg, have you had a colonoscopy?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm picking on you.
Okay.
Go ahead. So, anyway, so you started getting... Your dad died, and then what was the sequence from there?
So, initially, I went to cancer.org and asked to be a volunteer. And I was contacted by a staff person at the American Cancer Society asking if I could count money. I said, yeah, I can count money. So I went to a Making Strides Against
Do you get
Breast...
like a percentage? Because I can count money if I get a percentage.
No, I didn't get a percentage.
Oh,
I got a
okay.
T-shirt.
You'll never make it in politics, Bianca. I'm telling you that right now.
Probably not.
No, go ahead.
So counted money at a Making Strides Against Breast Cancer event, and that staff partner said, well, would you like to join Relay? And I said, what's Relay? So I was invited to come and join a plan-in meet-in, and I had no idea what to really expect, a meet-in to plan the event.
Okay.
So had no idea what to expect. There were folders of, these are the committee positions that are open. Pick a folder. So I chose food and drink because I always think that if you want to keep people enjoying what they're doing, you need to have good food and drink to keep them there.
Right.
So I took that on that year, and I chaired the Manchester Relay for Life the following year. I continue with the American Cancer Society and being so passionate to finish the fight because I've lost too many people to cancer, but I've seen many people survive cancer. One of my good friends is a 18-year cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
He's 22 years old.
Wow.
So he was diagnosed when he was 4.
Jeez.
He's a brain cancer survivor, and he inspires me every day. So earlier, Greg and I were at our open house, and he was honored at our open house for all the hard work that he does for Relay. So even when I don't want to ask people for money, I think of why I need to.
Right.
So.
Because that's got to be nerve-wracking to go around and ask people for money.
It gets easier.
It gets easier?
It gets easier, yes. After you ask enough people and you get enough no's, you'll get a few yeses. And I didn't ask you. Actually, you asked me to come over. You asked me to come over to your table.
It's kind of, except you don't necessarily get to the, you get a few yeses part.
Yeah, I never did get to the yeses part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that.
So quite. Yeah. So.
But I didn't ask you. You asked me to come over to your table and you asked me what I was doing.
Oh yeah. I was curious.
So,
I'm curious. Very.
Yeah.
I can't help but find out stuff. I don't know why. I forget it almost immediately afterwards. So I don't know why I bother, but I am.
You're curious like a cat.
Well, how are they curious?
Wow, they're just very curious. They're just curious about everything.
That's what killed them.
You should, instead of a hand grenade, you should bring a ball of yarn.
I should, or a cat.
Ooh, I like cats.
Okay. So now you're doing that. You actually work for them now.
I sure do. I actually was promoted a week ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I have been the support
You
staff.
realize you'll probably get demoted after being on the show, right? It's pretty bad.
My supervisor knows I'm on the show.
Right, it's not a matter of whether they know you're on the show. It's just
the
a matter of-
aftermath.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's like the head of the IRS kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as the scandal hits, and
Right,
boom,
yeah.
Well, for me, cancer is bipartisan.
It is.
Because
It absolutely
cancer
is.
sucks, and we all want to just finish the fight. And that would be an unemployment check that I would be happy to cash. So
Good answer.
That is
That's good.
Very
That's very
smooth.
good.
Yeah.
No, my dad died from lung cancer, and what was it? 1988, and so I do sympathize. As much as I joke around about everything, because I joke around pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything. Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
I not joke around about?
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Because everything's really funny if you think about it long enough and you're twisted enough. Greg, so what got you into this?
And first I want to say, thanks for having us on the show here. I'm glad that I figured, a man in politics, it would have been required that you won the 50-50 raffle for us to be able to come on the show here tonight.
I just figured if I had you on the show, the next 50-50 raffle, something could be arranged.
There you go.
Yeah. And we got a half hour to go. Don't thank us yet.
I got involved with Relay last year, and what got me involved, and what makes me believe in what the American Cancer Society is doing. My father's actually a cancer survivor, and he's a survivor of lung cancer. And this was just a few years ago that he was diagnosed, and went through all this treatment. And I know that if it wasn't for what the American Cancer Society is doing, the research they've done, and the treatments, the advancements in treatments, lung cancer even 10 years ago, the survival rate of lung cancer was a fraction of what it is now.
Right. Yeah, I know when my dad died, he went in for a biopsy and he was dead the next day.
Wow, really? No
Yeah,
kidding.
when they went in for the biopsy, they basically allowed whatever was in there to get out, and it just
Wow.
spread everywhere and killed
No
them
kidding.
quick.
Wow.
But I don't think they would do that today.
Right.
They wouldn't be that, they know a lot more
A
now.
lot more
Yeah.
advanced ways to detect things and look. And they found the cancer when he was just going in for an X-ray for some back pain. They happened to
really?
see something in the corner of the X-ray and said, "Hey, let's take another one."
Was that the cause of the back pain, or was that separate?
It was something completely different,
Wow.
and they just happened to see it right on the end of the X-ray.
Yeah, you hear a lot of stories like that where they catch it, not looking for it,
Yeah.
but through other looking for something else. They see something, a spot or something, and they say, "Oh, what's that? We better look."
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. That is very good.
it was good. And he went through Dana-Farber right down in Londonderry, and they do a great job there. A great group of people in that office, and very good office there.
How much has like say lung cancer? What's the survival rate from 1950 to 2010? Do you know if the numbers have increased as far as the percentage of people that have it and survive it? And
Well, I don't know the percentage in regards to lung cancer, but I know 2 out of 3 survivors that are diagnosed survive cancer.
do you know if that's different than?
So that's
40 years
overall,
ago?
that is definitely different than 40 years ago. Because today actually is the American Cancer Society's 100th birthday.
Oh, cool!
So
100th birthday.
100th birthday, we are
Birthday.
celebrating it today.
Jeez, I got to cut back on
We
that.
look pretty good for 100 years old.
Yes. Oh, we have a caller.
We have a call.
We have a caller.
All right. Hi, welcome to Rock Paper Hand Grenades. Who's on the line? Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I am good. Are we on the air?
We sure are.
Yes,
Your
yes.
time to shine. Go for it.
I have a question for the people that are on here.
Oh, it's Norm.
Here. A lot of the doctors will ask for mammograms, and also they will tell these women to go back and have more tests done because they give a lot of these women cancer scares when it's needless. And I would like to know how they feel about the mammograms and how the percentage of it is actually correct. Thank you.
Thanks, Norm.
Thanks, Norm.
You know what he's talking about, like the false positives and stuff like that. What's your take on that?
So, I think that our doctors, and I don't work directly with the doctors
Right,
unless
right.
they're on relay. I focus mostly on the income side of the house. I think that they give the information based upon the knowledge that they have, and I think through continued research, they're gonna improve with those false positives because it does scare people, and cancer is scary whether you have cancer or you don't have cancer. If someone says, well, we need to take another look, that's very scary, and that's very serious. I think that our medical community has come a long way, and I think they continue to improve.
Right. So in other words, it's not great now, but it's getting better all the time.
I believe that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think through continued research and given the tools that the doctors need to do their job, we will improve every day, and we'll find a cure.
100 years ago, what was the deal? How did it start 100 years ago? It seems like they probably didn't even hardly know it was even cancer 100 years ago.
100 years ago, they wouldn't even say the word cancer because people were afraid of that word.
How could they be? What?
They were afraid. Like, people would talk, behind closed doors, and they didn't talk about the C word. It was a bad word. You didn't talk about it. And
Really?
the Women's Field Army, which were some of our volunteers early on with the American Cancer Society, they worked on helping motivate women to get mammograms, and they made that common. That word common.
And 1913?
Not all in 1913, but
Oh.
the process of the American Cancer Society
Okay.
started, and some of our volunteer movements started in 1913.
Okay.
And through the the research that the American Cancer Society has made, they've linked smoking to cancer.
Right.
So those type of, people never knew that. And if
Oh, no.
and then people wouldn't talk about that.
When I was growing up, it was everybody on TV smoked.
Yeah.
If you were cool, you smoked. All the actresses and actors, and the girls just smoked thinner cigarettes, I think is.
Yeah. What do they call those? Is a name for those?
Virginia Slims.
Oh.
I didn't smoke them.
No.
I'm not saying
Right. No. You
I'm
didn't.
not saying it was wrong
Right.
to.
Right. Even if you did, no one would
I didn't
judge
inhale.
you. Right.
Really.
Yeah. Of course.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It gets worse. Greg. Greg, so your dad survived,
Yes.
which is a good story.
Yes.
So what motivated you? How did you get involved in this?
I actually got involved last year in the Derry Londonderry event, kind of an out of nowhere type thing. I happened to be at an event, and the co-chair of that event had come up to me. I knew her from previous events that we had met at, and her co-chair of the event happened to just call her and say, "Hey, I can't co-chair the event with you anymore." So she asked me if I'd be interested in helping her chair the event, and I said sure, and it got me involved last year in the Derry Londonderry event, and then this year I got involved in the Manchester event, being a Manchester resident.
Right.
I thought it'd be a good fit, and
So
tried to
now,
help out.
what capacity are you in with it? Still a volunteer, or are you working for them?
Nope, I'm a volunteer. I'm on the committee. I'm chairing the corporate sponsorship part of the committee. So I'm talking to businesses, trying to get them to help make their marketing dollars go towards a good cause and help the fight against cancer with that.
So if I get this correct, a pretty girl asked you to do something, you just did it because you're a guy, and that it kind of snowballed from there. Because the same thing happened to me when I was like 18, I think.
Yeah.
I was walking through Worcester, Massachusetts, and this really pretty girl says, "Hey, would you like to take a personality test?" I said, "Yeah, of course I would." Right?
Yeah.
Who's not going to take a personality test? I know I got a great personality.
Yes.
And I'm the first one to say so, right?
But you wanted to test it out.
I wanted
make
to test,
sure.
double check.
Yeah.
And it was
Make sure it wasn't a false positive.
Right. Exactly.
Right,
Yes.
that was Scientology. So it's like the same thing, right?
Well, I'm a believer in what ACS is doing.
No, I know. I'm just picking on you. It's funny, I went to that, and I went to enough of the things that I realized that these people worshipped L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. I just exit stage right.
You're not a Tom Cruise fan?
No. So there's some other stuff they did that's really
I
bizarre.
thought Tom Cruise's picture is on the top of his notes there.
Yeah, right.
Tom Cruise could be president.
He's ratting me out. He's ratting me out.
I know, right?
I invite the guy on the show, and he rats me out. But anyway, I haven't done anything with them since I think I was 19. I still get mail from them.
Do you really?
Postcards, cotton picking.
What's funny about that is your mailman probably thinks you're secretly a Scientologist.
I guess it's not that big a secret if it's coming in every cotton picking week.
Even weirder if it was all going to a P.O. box. That'd be a little.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so you got involved as a volunteer, and you're still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we have the DVD that Bianca was kind enough to bring. Quick cue that.
100 years ago, the American Cancer Society began a fight against an enemy whose name even doctors were hesitant to mention. The topic was taboo because little could be done. Over the years, we've learned that cancer thrives on silence, complacency, and business as usual. Progress comes when we speak out, when we take action, when we're loud. So we started making noise. The Women's Field Army made noise about testing, and cervical cancer declined 70%. We made noise in Capitol Hill, and smoking declined 50%. We made noise on the research front, and have 46 Nobel laureates to show for it. We made noise on behalf of men, women, and children in every community. And today, 2 out of 3 people survive cancer. But we're not done making noise. We won't be silent until we finish the fight. On our 100th birthday, we're going to amplify our efforts and lead the loudest, most aggressive, most unified assault on cancer we've ever made. We want to make sure no life-saving research is silenced. We want to make sure that every patient who needs a place to stay has a place to stay. We want to make sure that everyone has access to life-saving screenings. Why? Because we dream of a day when 3 out of 3 people survive cancer and everyone has more birthdays. Let's speak out. Let's be loud. Because silence won't finish the fight. Action will.
Very nice.
That's very nice. It reminded me that one of the wonderful people that I know in the State House is Amy Perkins, state rep from the Seacoast, and she's got like a tumor. I think it's cancer, a brain in the brain, and it's not going well. So it's definitely saying prayers for her. But she's going out to Duke University. Do they have a medical? Duke has medical, yeah.
Believe so.
Yeah, so she's heading out there. She's been going to Boston, but it's not working, so it's not good.
That's the most important thing. The money that the American Cancer Society raises, it goes towards the research, but it also goes towards the Hope Lodges that we have throughout the U.S.
Yep.
So if someone doesn't have a place to stay, some of our we have a Hope Lodge in Boston.
Right.
So we have patients from Michigan that might have sought treatment, and where would those people stay? Well, they're going through treatment. So, we have Hope Lodges. I believe we have 13 of them in the U.S.
Right.
And we're lucky enough, actually, to have 3 of them here in New England. So
The Ronald McDonald's houses are like that, but I don't think they're exclusively for cancer. It's usually for kids, I think,
it's
who are in the hospital.
terminally ill children.
Yeah, and the parents get to stay near the kid when they're, yeah. So that's really cool, because it is, if you're dealing with somebody that's that sick, it is horrible to deal with, but even more so if you have to sleep in your car every night if you want to stay with them. You know what I mean?
Right, and they allow their caregiver to join them. We have a volunteer that he helps set up rides for cancer patients, and he went through treatment a couple years ago. Something to do with his lungs. I believe it was lung cancer. And his parents actually were able to stay with him, and they were from out of state. So he lives here in New Hampshire, but he was going to Dana-Farber. And because where he lived, it was over 50 miles, he qualified to stay at the Hope Lodge. And his parents were able to stay with him to help him through his journey and while he was going through treatments. So those are, that's just one of the programs that the American Cancer Society supports.
Okay. Now, before we run out of time, what's going on with this?
So, yeah.
Because you can read that. My eyes aren't very good.
I actually know this stuff.
Oh.
So the Relay for Life of Greater Manchester is June 14th to the 15th at Livingston Park, which is, if you're from the Manchester area, is across from the Puritan. It starts at 6 o'clock with a survivor ceremony. And we honor our survivors that are...
Wait, which...
6 p.m.
p.m., okay.
On the 14th, and it's an overnight event, because for one night a year, we don't sleep, because we want to respect what a cancer survivor goes through, or a cancer patient goes through. And so we have a big party. It's pretty much just a big party that's family-friendly, and...
So there's no kegs.
There are no kegs. There is no smoking.
I think I'm busy. Sorry.
We're doing a birthday theme this year. Yes, because it's our 100th birthday.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of great entertainments planned. There will be a Halloween lap at 7 o'clock with the kids trick or treating around the track. Teams have been fundraising all year and raising money for the American Cancer Society to help us finish the fight. So it starts at 6 p.m. and goes until Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And at 9 p.m. We have a luminary ceremony. A lot of people might wonder what a luminary ceremony, but if you think about the little paper bags that you might have carried your lunch to when you were in school. Yeah. So they're white, and we decorate them in honor of or in memory of somebody.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's amazing, and we shut off all the music, we shut off all the lights, and we light the track up. We start with a bagpiper, and we walk in silence. So those are just, two of the types of things that we do, but we try to have definitely a lot of fun. The Survivor Lap, I think, is one of my favorite things in the luminary. There's usually not too many dry eyes in the house or on the track. We also do a great fight back ceremony, and people say, what's fight back? And that's, we want to lift people up after such a somber hour. And we share inspiring stories about survivorship and about finishing the fight. And it's going to be a great event down at Livingston Park. Like I said, June 14th to the 15th. We still can take teams. You go to relayforlife.org/ManchesterNH, or you can call 1-800-ACS-2345.
You on Facebook?
We are on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Manchester Relay for Life. Greater Manchester Relay for Life. Sorry,
Okay.
I had to think about that for
You're
a
going to have to
moment.
write that down because I gotta link it on the rock, paper, hand grenade site.
Yep. So it's the Greater Manchester Relay for Life. And even if you can't stay overnight or you cannot start a team, come down and just join us, because there'll be teams that have set up fundraisers that will be selling stuff. So make sure you bring money. I'll use my team, for example. This year our team is doing a baseball theme, and we're doing Angels in the Outfield. So we're remembering our lost cancer family and friends, but we also have our angels that we still support. And so we'll continue the fight, and we're going to do some hot dogs and some chili and just have fun, have kid games, and be a great time.
So I could just go down there and leave all my grandchildren with you?
No.
No.
It's a good try, though.
It was a good try, right?
But you can come down and join us with your grandchildren. And you don't have to register up until midnight. At midnight, if you're not a registered participant, for the safety of everybody that's there, you either need to come and register, or you're asked to come back in the morning.
Okay.
So
basically, it's people after midnight. It's people who are involved, not people who are, smoking.
There will be nobody smoking at any time.
Wandering through, and
No, we have a great event for Manchester.
Now, is it right near the little playground?
So no, it's where Central plays, up past the pool.
I don't know where the pool is. I took my grandson because he wanted to go there to just play on the jungle gyms and stuff like that. So I don't.
Go up a little bit further past the playground.
I don't know if I can walk that far.
There's parking, and there is a shuttle.
Right.
Oh, there's a shuttle.
You can park at the Brady Sullivan Tower. You can park right down the street here at the Brady Sullivan Tower on Elm Street, and we'll have a free shuttle.
Okay. So anyway, speaking of cancer, right? I always wondered this. Remember you guys are probably too young, but quite a few years ago there was Matt. You're old enough. Remember there was that scare that people were getting cancer from living too close to power lines?
I do remember that. Yeah.
I do remember that as well.
Has that been debunked?
No. Well, no. Oh. I asked. Okay, so I went up as a legislator last term. I went up to Hydro-Quebec, and there's a spokesman, one of the bigwigs from Hydro-Quebec. And I've always, I never had that kind of access before, so I'm not one to be shy about abusing it. So I asked the guy, I said, it has long been my suspicion that the people that live near power lines were not getting cancer because of the electric field. It's always been my suspicion that they were getting cancer because of the defoliants used to control the undergrowth. He didn't comment on that, but he said that in Canada they're not allowed to use defoliants to control the undergrowth.
Interesting.
Which answered my question.
That's very interesting.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Things that make you go, I wonder if they're hiding something.
Wow.
See, I'm not as dumb as I look, man. I don't care what you say.
You're looking pretty smart with that haircut.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't get it cut. It was just...
I know,
fell
the
off.
wind, but whatever.
It's wind.
Yeah.
Wind. There's a wind due. So what else is going on? So you got this coming on, and what else is going on with the American Cancer Society? What do you guys...
Well, another great event that I'm going to plug while I'm here.
Yes, plug away.
On June 9th, maybe you can't go to an overnight event because you have a canine friend at home. We have a Bark for Life event in Auburn, New
Bark
Hampshire.
for Life?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's our dog-friendly event because I know my dogs have been very very loving, and when I need somebody, I don't want to always call a friend, and they give you unconditional love. So they offer that support for the survivor, as well as the caregiver.
You say it's unconditional. Try not feeding them for a week.
Am
I right?
Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
So
I can't help myself.
the Bark for Life event is on June 9th in Auburn at Board Field. And it's $10 to register you and your dog. But if people go online today, actually, for the 100th birthday, we're actually doing a free registration today for
cool.
the Manchester Relay and the Bark for Life. So you can register for free today, and it's the Bark for Life is a 2-mile walk, scenic walk with your dog, and you can call my extension. You can reach me at the American Cancer Society for either one of these events at 603-471-4112.
Right.
Or you can go to relayforlife.org, type in your zip code, and find an event near you.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Bark for Life sounds pretty fun too, because there are a lot of people that want to go to stuff, but they don't want to leave their dogs behind.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That's
I know
one of
you were
the-
talking about being a cat lover. I'm a dog lover. I love my dogs. About a month after
Well, see,
I
dogs
lost my
actually
father.
dogs actually have a purpose.
Yeah. My gizmo, about a month after I lost my dad, everybody else, it's Black Friday, everybody's shopping for other people.
Yeah.
I went and bought myself a dog.
What kind of dog?
I have 2 Shih Tzus.
Say that on
I don't
TV?
think you can
I don't
say
think
that
you
on
can say
TV,
that. No,
right?
you already
I don't
dropped
think
one.
so.
Right?
I know, I guess. So if you end it with Sue,
Right. I
You
guess
can
that.
say it.
I guess that
I
it's
should have-
okay.
I should have, yeah.
Okay, there's a lag time. They'll get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. All right.
no, what I forget. Oh, I'm not right. Anyway, so what do they look like?
Gizmo looks like Gizmo from the Gremlins.
No way,
He
really?
looks just like Gizmo from the Gremlins.
So those are those little tiny fuzzy things?
Yeah, so they're
What
Asian,
happens if
they're
you
Chinese
feed-
dogs.
wait,
so they think they're royalty. So
You don't give them water
my
after
dogs
midnight, or
are.
don't feed them
If
after
you don't,
midnight?
you ever
I
feed
don't
them
feed them
mid-
after midnight.
No,
That's because
okay,
I'm usually
okay.
not up after midnight.
Okay, but I'm just checking, because
You bought it from a little back alley shop, and
Maybe.
exactly. No, that's one of the things that I've got a lot of allergies, and one thing I really not resent, because you can't resent God, because he just laughs at you, but I do wish I could have a dog.
You
was
might want to
actually
consider
kind-
one with no dander, like
No, it
a Shih
doesn't
Tzu.
matter. No, that does.
Can't get the hyperallergenic ones?
No, there's no such thing. But there is a company that's trying to genetically alter dogs and cats so that they don't produce the protein that people are allergic to.
you just bring the dog to get shaved every week.
No, it's not that. It's the protein they
That's gross.
That would be kind of gross.
Yeah,
Especially because the dogs I really like are like labs, black
yeah.
labs and
Yeah.
golden retrievers. They look really stupid shaved.
Yeah, they would.
As
yeah.
my husband would say, the real dogs.
The real dogs.
The real
exactly.
dogs. Mine aren't the real dogs.
No, they're not
Of course.
real dogs. Nothing personal, but they aren't.
They're my babies.
They're like cats with bad attitudes. Really. Yeah, I like the real dogs, ones that you can wrestle with and stuff like that, and because they're also cool. Because it's funny, I met this lady the other day who's got a black lab, and she was saying, "Oh, he's too gentle. He never gets aggressive." I says, "Yeah, wait until something happens. You take a black lab; they'll be the most gentle, kind little dog. But if somebody were to be aggressive to one of your
yeah.
kids, they get wicked vicious, wicked
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah,
They'll
very
turn on a
protective.
dime. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're awesome like that." But that's really cool. So that's what you guys is. I can't say that with a straight face. So that dog,
Well, I was talking to someone else, and they called it the woof woof.
the woof woof.
The woof woof.
That sounds a lot more decent than what you said.
The Bark for Life.
No,
My dog's names are
Yes.
being a Shih Tzu.
she's
Just
gonna
throwing
keep
them out
saying it.
there.
She just can't stop.
I know, right? Yeah.
My Gizmo and Bella.
Gizmo and Bella.
Yes.
They're both male and female. or-
Male and female.
Yeah. You're gonna end up with a lot of little Gizmos and Bellas.
No, they're fixed.
Oh.
Right away.
Okay, we only got like
Why? I'm not sure why that's so funny.
I don't know.
Bunch of little shits who's running around there.
That's
Exactly.
I watched enough Bob Barker to know that I needed to make sure that my animals were.
Bob Barker. Why Bob Barker?
Because he always told at the end of his
Oh,
he always
he
said
did.
to spay and neuter your pets
Yeah, that's right.
at the end of his show.
That's right.
Every day.
What's he got? Something against pets or something?
No, he just didn't want them to be not cared for. So he'd tell everybody to make sure that they're spay or neutered so that they're not duplicated and unloved and not in a home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bob Barker.
Bob. So
Look it up.
blame it on Bob. I bet there's a lot of dogs that hate Bob Barker.
Ironically, his
saying?
last name
Yeah.
is Barker. You know.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah, they must feel betrayed.
Yes, exactly. I bet there's like the dogs have like a website, Kill Bob Barker.
They
on
probably
it or
do.
something, you know what I mean?
So thank you.
Do you really mean that?
No, I do. I do.
No, you got to repeat what you about this
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
And give your phone number out. Not your home phone. I mean the American
Your husband might be mad if you don't have your home phone yet.
So the Relay for Life of Greater Manchester is June 14th to the 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. It's an overnight event, which is 16 hours at Livingston Park. You can find out more at relayforlife.org/ManchesterNH, or you can go to cancer.org. You can also call our office at 603-471-4112, or you can dial toll-free at 1-800-ACS-2345.
Very cool. Greg, you got anything to add before we move on?
I just hope people come check out the event. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good way to help fight cancer and have some fun doing it.
And
Yes, it does sound like
he
a-
still is taking small business sponsorships.
Cool.
So if
I
anybody is
started $100
interested,
for a small business sponsorship.
yep.
Thank you very much for what you guys do. I really appreciate. I really, as I think any guy feels that you remember back when you were a teenager asking girls out, how tough it was to ask. So I really felt for you going around trying to ask for money to different tables and stuff. I just thought that was awesome, and it was actually really awesome that. I'm gonna forget what's this restaurant's name again.
Margaritas?
I don't know why I get dream payment. Margaritas allowed you to do that.
Yeah.
That was actually very cool of them to allow, because they could easily say no, we don't want people harassing the customers and stuff like that. But they actually let you in there, and so kudos to them too, because
So
that's how this stuff works.
do
Is by
a-
businesses and people working together. You guys, you're volunteering first, and you're volunteering, and then. And it's very awesome what you're doing.
Margaritas does a Noche Mexicana nights that people that are interested in making money for a nonprofit. You can sign up with the Margaritas website.
Oh, okay.
And
Very nice.
I've done several fundraisers with Margaritas. So I've been able to work with them hand in hand, and they actually are wonderful to work with here in Manchester because of, I guess, all the time I spend there. So, yeah, and there's a lot of great businesses in Manchester that support our nonprofits. So,
Okay,
we
well,
appreciate them.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all
Thank you
what you
both.
do,
Thank
because it's it's with all the garbage we hear on TV every day. It's nice to have people on that are actually doing something to help other people besides just themselves. So thank you very much, and good luck with your fundraiser and the dog. What is it? The Bark for Life.
The Bark for Life.
Bark for Life.
Bark for life?
Yeah.
I could go there and get sick from
Y-
allergies.
Yeah, you could.
I could if I was. that
People
fermented.
could bet on how long it would take till we had to call 911. We could raise some money.
There we go.
That's a good idea,
There we go.
right?
All right.
Have like the politician in a booth that you could like a
See how many dogs we can put in there at the same time.
It's awesome.
start wheezing,
that'd
like
be a
turn
great
blue.
fundraiser.
All right.
That would be Wheeze for Life.
Wheeze for life,
yeah.
exactly, exactly.
All right.
Hey, thank you very much, folks.
you.
Bye, everybody.